Shalom and shalom to the other brothers and sisters that might be watching this later on. And shalom to the brothers and sisters that is actually going to be tapping into this live. Shalom, shalom again. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem Rakakodash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elders, great millstone, who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. And a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same Spirit, Lord willing that they can continue as a whole to endure and be sincere in the same Spirit. Shalom to the Akwatiyam, believers of this faith and this truth. Lord willing, you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord willing, the Most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. Right? To be honest, this lesson is inspired by, again, with the head brother in my camp, Yaramayan. Yaramayan, you know, brothers is talking. You know, he technically my boss at work. And, you know, it's a few things that came out, but this one that stuck with me. Even, you know, sitting up here at this water and then reading, I didn't think that I was going to do a lesson on it, and just reading, you know, just reading a chapter, deciphering through the scriptures, just one chapter, just align with the thought of this is just a dream. And I guess this was meant to actually come out, you know, and I think I did a lesson on this is just a dream, and I probably went in another direction. For any man and any woman, you know, even more to be confident, to know that this is a dream, really a nightmare, is how for the past few days, the men of the Lord, even every week, every month, the men of the Lord been bringing forth the same lessons, just in different ways, right? Being circumspect, being cautious, right? You got people that are claiming this truth, and they're being exposed by, like, Ron Dalton. I really didn't watch that dude in aspects, but he's coming and taking away that Esau's the white man, then change that he is, and then say the vehicles of the Lord are not chariots, right? The Lord is exposing false teachers. The thing that happened with Gorilla, not to even bring up Mr. Peggy, regardless, the Lord is exposing leaders, right? ISUBK, right? And hey, anybody that's not sincere in Great Millstone or the affiliates, you getting exposed too. You know, women been on a high level on the TV screen. The Lord is exposing, right? Brothers is going through certain events, either at work, right? As agents, you know, how my brother speak on something, and then somebody call about an agent when he's, man, this Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is showing certain things, right? And, you know, like the brother Yaramayan, Sam, Asher, and the outer apostles, they always say, take heed to the signs that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai gives you, right? And sometimes you might be like, man, I don't know. And then another brother is bringing up a story, or you go on YouTube and a brother's doing a lesson. Yo, through the Spirit, those are signs, you know? So I want to give all praises again to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for allowing the thought, you know, to come out when a brother said that, man, this is just a dream, bro, when you really look at it. Shalom to the brother, hopeful elect 144K, Yahweh Shemashai Brakatah, right? I'm going to start off with this verse, but we're really going to read Jeremiah the 30th chapter. Lord willing, we can get through verse 10 to 24. It's not, I didn't really have any precepts planned. This just came like right through the spirit of just reading this chapter, you know, after it talks about Jacob's trouble, right? But I'm gonna go and start with this, Psalms 126. So this is Psalms 126, verse 1 and 2, right? This is literally a dream. You're living in a story. You know, when people say, oh man, you got to go to a book. Man, you living out the book, right? This is Psalms 126, verse 1 and 2. It says, when Yahweh turned again the captivity of Zion, right? He's always turning the captivity of the 12 tribes of Israel. Read your Bible thoroughly. If you can't understand it, like Yarmayan, like we were saying at work, most cases, the real sheep is going to go to the men of the Lord to guide them in the scriptures, right? And you're going to understand throughout a lot of our history, we were in captivity, right? We were in captivity, right? Verse 2, it says, then was our mouth filled with laughter and our tongue with singing. Then said they among the heathen, Yahweh have done great things for them, right? So when the Lord turned our captivity, we're going to look at it like it was a dream, and we're going to laugh, let alone you go to, because your body going to be changed. 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, starting at probably 50 to 54, your body going to be changed, like in the twinkling of an eye. Right? Your body's going to be changed. And I'm gonna read this in 1 Peter 4 and 17, no, 4 and 18, because only the elect on the side is going to be scarcely saved. Imagine that estate, you're barely saved by the skin of your teeth, hardly saved. Right? This is 1 Peter 4 and 18. It says, if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinners appear? Right? And the righteous is going to be saved with the Lord in that last second. Oh man, being changed in the twinkling of an eye, and you just got saved at the last second, then you with the Lord, it's going to be like a like the elect is going to desire the Lord to come and get them. Like right now, what Israelite in their great mind want the Lord to make this captivity last another day, another month, right? That the men of the Lord and not truly believe, again, this is not boasting any man as a man, but boasting the spirit that men is moving by, from the elder apostles on down to the affiliates, the men, women, and children that are sincere about Yahweh, Shema Shai, and sound doctrine. The ones that I'm around and I'm seeing and I'm learning under, right, they're always speaking, the kingdom gotta be coming soon, right? Oh man, I'm tired of this place, right? The elect desire Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua to come. Just imagine in the time of the MOTV, just imagine the famine of the word. Just imagine Jacob's trouble. While I was at work the whole night, because my face was serious. When I woke up to go to work, my face was serious. I started to think soon as I woke up, all the way to leaving work. And I think a brother was doing a video. Yeah, later on I watched, I think the elder, Apostle Gabar, and the bishop, or it was probably another video, where they said, watch, some of you 2/3 is going to try to seek this truth. You're going to start to try to cleave to those that was trying to teach this word, your family, your friends. And I started getting angry while I'm at work, like, oh, hell nah. And I started thinking of family members, friends, people you came across, females, they not, oh, come on, hey, can I, either your wife, old best friend, right, a best friend from 10, 20 years ago, you'll be thinking like, wait, hold on. When I was trying to tell you, when you seen me doing this, you didn't take heed. I start to feel like Elijah, getting jealous and be like, hell nah. You one of those last second, soon as the doors, like, when you closing your door and it make that crack noise, that's when people gonna try to come in this thing, right? And on the elect, dealing with the men of the Lord, right, you're going to have a passion to say no. You're not going to even open the door. You're not going to even want to feed this truth, because we're gonna understand that type of spirit, that people are gonna want to come in the last minute. Oh man, I knew that this was it. Your family, right before they was telling you, was forcing you, was pushing people. You can't force nobody. Like when we go to church, when you were young and your mom said you got to get up, hey, put your church clothes on. That was forcing you, not even asking. You had to go. Just because brothers is we over here saying, hey, yeah, you an Israelite, hey, we getting the blood off our hands. They just don't understand, right? But when that day come, man, only the elect is going to be scarcely saved. Imagine the mindset they're going to have to want to be saved. The first day, the famine of the word, the first day of the MOTB, the first day of Jacob's trouble. None of the elect right now, I highly doubt, wants to be here any longer, right? The bills, working for Esau, right? The low income that they getting, the health conditions, right? The things that we see, how people moving. I highly doubt the elect want to be here another fucking day, man. You know? Why would he tell you, look up, your redemption draweth near? Only the elect, the ones that are sincere, believing and desiring the coming of Yahweh Shema Shai, is looking up for their redemption. You know? So we understand they're going to be scarcely saved. It's another one. So when they're scarcely saved, their body is going to change, right? So I'm just lining up Psalms 126 verse 1 and 2 just in your mindset. As soon as you get saved, you're going to be changed in the twinkling of an eye. Yes, Hebrew Israelites, right? 1 Corinthians the 15th chapter, starting at verse 50, and Philippians chapter 3 verse 21, verse 20, and our conversation is in heaven, from whence also we look for our Savior, the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who shall change our veiled body, that it may be fashioned like unto his glorious body, according to the working whereby he is able even to subdue all things unto himself. The elect is desiring this change, right? The elect is desiring change. Nobody in the world is speaking about spiritual powers. Nobody is speaking about the deliverance. Nobody is speaking about the massacre the Lord is going to bring when he comes back on the earth. It's not no hugs and kisses. I heard a man say the other night, I believe on the elder from South Carolina, GMS, where he said there's no such thing as the elect. You got people in there in here that that's not even speaking about the elect, and they're worried about, oh, we trying to build a nation, right? What has the community done for us? Fuck the community. The Lord is dealing with the elect, and he been doing this from time and time again. Noah is the example. You know, people really thinking about rebuilding a nation. The Lord is not dealing with the many; he's dealing with the few, right? So we read those things within those that in Psalms 126, feeling like it was a dream, right? And you laughing, you're gonna have a changed body. Whoever make it on them chariots, which is really the elect, right? So now, if any other precept come to mind, Lord willing, I'll bring it out. But going to Jeremiah the 30th chapter, right, starting at verse 10, it goes into Jacob shall be at rest, and it's going to go into the destruction of Israel's enemies, and Jerusalem to be rebuilt. Jerusalem, the Yasharella, is not rebuilt. Through the Spirit, the tabernacles of David is being rebuilt. The third temple is being built, which is the elect of this ministry. That's what's being built. The physical place is not rebuilt yet, right? Where the world is going to be in harmony under righteous authority. Right? The destruction of Israel's enemies, they're still open shop. It's still same-sex marriage, right? It's still drug dealing, stripper, hoes, sluts in our nation, right? We're not at rest. Our enemies is not below us. Man, I was thinking of it. Yeah, it's going to come back to mind. And Jacob shall be at rest. We are not at rest right now. Brothers are still working, still at shop, right? Your neck is still under persecution. Oh, brother, you're not under physical captivity. You under mental and spiritual and financial captivity. Prophecies have to be fulfilled. In Daniel the 7th chapter, we're in the little horn, regardless if you're not physically getting afflicted. When that MOTB come, that's going to afflict the ministry, which is really those that fear Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. You know? Let me just get this in Limitations real quick. This is Limitations, the 5th chapter. Limitations, the 5th chapter. In verse 5, it says, I'm going to start at verse 4. It says, we have drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us. How are we at rest? Right? And we have to buy our own water for money. Our wood is sold unto us. Trees the Lord created, that he created. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai created that. Even in the law, is certain amount of trees that we should be cutting, or type of trees we should be cutting. Esau cutting them all. Water, he's selling you water, which is free. You can't even collect water, man. Yo, Shalom, Yahweh Shemashai Brakathum, to the brother of Water of Rav, Chief Magician. I like the title of that. Right, that's fire right there, because definitely we are magicians. That's beautiful, right? And that go with Psalms 33:3, man. This is a new song to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, but technically, this is not a new song. You know, this is not a new song, right? So going back to Jeremiah Lowell and this other precept come to pass, right? So Jacob is not at rest. Our the enemies of our nation is in rulership, so they're not brought down low. In Yasharallah, right, Jerusalem, Zion hasn't been rebuilt. Right now, it's through the Spirit because of this ministry, man. So this hasn't got fulfilled, right? Everybody, oh, why you always worried about the Old Testament? Because it's many things that was prophesied that haven't been fulfilled. Y'all don't believe in the whole Bible. Y'all want to be constructed in one part of the Bible. We over here believe in the whole Bible, starting with the elder apostles and the men on down, even women. Sidebar: why do we keep mentioning the men of the Lord, or why do we mention the elder apostles to boast them up, to give them a reward? No, this is not the Grammys. Right, we call a spade because even in the scriptures, right, to point out the elders, the men of the Lord, right, the ones that been in this thing before you, you speak on it, because then somebody can leave your video and actually go see them teaching the same thing you teaching. You know, like if somebody's speaking of Moses, you go into the book of Moses. When you want to, if somebody is breaking down something in Jeremiah, right, what did the people of Berea do? They searched the scriptures daily to see if it was so. So if I'm getting some, and say if I need more understanding, I'm gonna go to my teachers and sharpen up, so that when I'm teaching the same sound doctrine. So if you go to them, you go to him, or you go to me, we're singing the same damn song. And it's to humble myself, and for anybody else that's watching, so you know that I didn't come up with this myself. This is not shabba dabba ding dong. I am not the smartest man in this thing. I am not the most eloquent, and I don't want to be. But this is to let people know that you got to be guided in the scriptures. So even if I call myself a prophet or a teacher, I'm still a student. And before I even got in this thing was already taught. So this is why I'm always going to bring up the men of the Lord, and I'm going to bring up sincere brothers and great millstone and the affiliates, right? Just so you know, right? So Jeremiah 30:10, it says, therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith Yahweh, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save them from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity, and Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. Right? Jake is afraid. right? We're still worried because you never know when Esau is going to really act like him and become a madman. The Lord didn't put us in this thing to be the top samurai jack in this thing, because our weapons are not carnal, right? We have the weapon of Yahweh Bashim Shai, which is this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The Lord is preparing us to be that physical weapon. But right now, we have to be spiritual weapons, right? And this truth right here is making the elites upset, right? Because the Lord is about to make a change. The men of the Lord, if we're actually teaching boldly, that's to let you know prophecy is being fulfilled. First and foremost is that the men is standing on their feet, and that the word knowledge has increased evermore. That right there show you that prophecies, certain things that was prophesied, is actually being fulfilled and being in effect right now, right? Verse 11, it says, "For I am with thee, saith Yahweh, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations, whether I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished." How is he going to make a, he said, he said he was going to make a full end of all the nations, right? When, you know, Revelation 19, where Yahweh shall have many crowns. When he take down Esau, he's taking down all the nations' rulership, whether he scattered us, yet will I not make a full end of thee. So Jacob is going to be saved out of this thing. Jacob is not going to be totally destroyed, right? But I will correct thee in measure. Let's see. Let's just go to a point where we already went in 1 Peter's, the 4th chapter, and let's read verse 17, because that's going to show you, right? And then Zechariah 13, right? It was 3 parts, right? Two parts was cut off, but the rest was left, which is 1/3. This is 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 17. And it reads, it says, "For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of God. And if it first begin at us, what shall be the end of them that obey not the gospel?" So judgment is going to happen first at the house of God, which is men, women, and even some of you monstrous children that so-called proclaiming that they believe in Yahweh, saying the name of God, but are not sincere. So-called say they got the banner of this truth, right? Judgment is in that house, right? Which is this ministry. Then it's gonna judgment is gonna happen to those that haven't obeyed this gospel, right? Basically you basic niggas that's of the world. Then verse 18, the elect, right, the righteous are going to be scarcely saved. Now let's go to Zechariah. Let's go to another one, right? This Bible is a puzzle. Brothers is saying precept upon precept, but I'll even say it in a better term that a lot of y'all can't get it. This is a puzzle. And I know a lot of y'all did puzzles. You know, when you do the whole puzzle, it'd be that one last piece or 2 pieces, and you had all the pieces on the table and you can't even see it. That's what this is. This is a puzzle, right? And the Rakak Wadash has to be within you to move the pieces in the right spot. So this is Zechariah 13 and 8. "And it shall come to pass that in all the land," really talking about Babylon, "saith Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them, and they will say, It is my people, and they shall say, Yahweh is my power." Now again, which brothers is shalom to the brother Gabar, Ya'Allah, Yahweh Shemashai Brakatan, right? Just to make it clear, everybody think the name don't matter, or everybody got the name, or saying Yahuwah, Yeshua, right? To be real frank, and when you really read these scriptures and you go to 2nd Esdras, the 3rd chapter, verse 34, the Lord's name is only found in Israel. Everybody of different race is saying Jesus, Yahuwah, Yeshua, or Yahweh. I only know a Hebrew Israelites as a whole, as a bulk, saying Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, the Heavenly Father's name in Paleo Hebrew, and Yahweh Shai in Paleo Hebrew, the Son of the Most High. I only see Hebrew Israelites. And that name is a secret name that's revealed. And you got some, oh no, that's not it, it's Yeshua. Guess what? The secret wasn't revealed to them. That's how precious this ministry is, man. That's how precious, man. You got to be teaching the name. You got to believe in the name. You got to move in this name, right? Get corrected in the name. Receive the correction in his name. It's not many names. Yes, it's many titles. Prince, you got Lord, God. Those are titles, but that's not his name. Because when you go into Hebrew, words have meaning. So Yahweh, he exists, he to be. Yahweh Shai, he saves, he redeems, or we could say he delivers. So these elect are, wait, where it says, they shall call on my name. What is it? Sirach 17:10. The elect shall praise my name. 2nd Ezra chapter 2, it says those that stood stiffly for the name of the Lord. 2nd Ezra 2, verse 40 to 46. Everybody's saying Jesus. So who's staying stiffly for the name Jesus? That's not even his damn name, man. Right? So again, when we go back to Jeremiah, Jeremiah 30:11, where it says, I will correct thee in measure and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. We just went to 1 Peter 4:17. We just went to Zechariah the 13th chapter. And 2nd Ezra 9:7. Let me read the brother's precept before I go anywhere. Gabar Ya'ala, he put Amos 9:10. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, would say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us, man. Right? They're going to die by a sword. It could be multiple swords, a weapon. So it's either they're going to die by that missile or they're going to die by those laser beams. Right? And you can see that in Habakkuk, the 3rd chapter, verse 4. When you look up the word horn in that verse, it goes into a ray of light. Right? You got a good ray of light that Elijah got beamed up, and then you got that sword ray of light, which is that laser beam, the same where the Lord made the law. The finger of the Lord was a controlled fire, a very strong fire, which is a laser beam. Right? Those that can't get it, can't see it, this is not for you. So don't hurt yourself to try to understand anything I'm saying. Right? This is 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, verse 7. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works, by faith whereby ye believed. Now, when you go down, because it's going to change, when you go down, I believe it's verse 12. 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 12. It says, let me start at verse 10. It says, for such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me, and they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty, right? You had liberty, freedom to do the laws and commandments of the Lord, right, to the best of your ability. And when as yet place of repentance was open unto thee, that mean if it was open to you, so what that mean? It was closed. So that means the door is about to close. The room for repentance, that mercy, that grace is going to be closed. It says, understood not, but despised it. The same must know it. After death by pain. Right? You 2/3, you're gonna know that this was the truth. When you burn it, man, and you're gonna know it when you come back in the kingdom after that 1,000-year reign. Right? Daniel the 2nd chapter. Some is gonna wake up to everlasting life, and some is gonna wake up to everlasting contempt. You're gonna be ashamed and content with yourself that you didn't want to accept this. You know, hey, we gotta come back in this world and reread this word again. And it's a pain to know that you did the same thing over and over again, same thing over and over again. You know, but this is the last chance. If you ain't getting it now, when the Lord closed that door like he did Noah, it's over. It's over. And you 2/3 is gonna be a dream to your ass too, right? Just like how we titled it, when I go in the NLT for the last verse, where it says uh the last verse in the NLT, I don't want to read the whole verse because I want to go to it, but in the last part of it, it said, in the days to come, you will understand all this. So even the 2/3, you're gonna understand all of this, but you're gonna understand that this was the truth, death by pain, and even coming back in the kingdom with your right state of mind, Ezekiel 36, and having that new spirit and a new heart. You're gonna understand that the whole time the Lord was trying to teach you, the diddler, he's gonna know the shit that he was doing. Like, he could have been one of those Jakes in Sodom and Gomorrah, or one of those people that was cleaving to whoever Benjamin learned to try to take that Levite dude and try to do the diddler to him. You know, yeah, all of us is gonna know, right? So we can go back to Jeremiah, but the brother dropped 2 more precepts, Jeremiah 15:2. And it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, whither shall we go forth? Then thou shalt tell them, thus saith Yahweh, such as are for death to death, and such as are for the sword to the sword, and such as are for the famine to the famine, and such as are for captivity to the captivity, right? And that goes to everybody, has a portion in this thing. Everybody's gonna have a lot. When you go to 2nd Ezra 16, some of the women husbands is gonna die by the sword or by famine, and y'all gonna be single. And and if you are preserving, and that might humble you, oh, I don't got no head, you might be drawn to one of the men of the Lord, and that man of the Lord might have a wife, might have 2 wives, might have 3, might have 4, might have 5, he might have 7, he might have 10 women following him wherever he go in that terrible time of Jacob's trouble, even leading up to it, man. Because right now, when shit really hit the fan, women are going to be humbling. Some women, not all, are going to start to be humbled. Like, damn, man, I am gonna need a man. Like, it's women making YouTube videos. Man, I was wrong. I do need a man. You had this one girl at the gym where she said, hey, look, there's very few real niggas out here. Hey, sis, you gonna have to share that nigga. And now that's our man. That's not your man, that's our man. Eventually, a lot of women are gonna be humbled in this thing, and your husband, you gonna be having sharing time with your husband. I don't care if it's 5 minutes, 15 minutes, even though he gives the order on who he gonna be within that. Like, it's going to be vicious. Ain't no, I'm telling you, only a 2/3 women think she gonna be good, but women that's gonna get in their sense. But even 2/3 women is gonna be looking for the men of the Lord. It's gonna get crazy out here, man. Literally, I don't know what y'all be thinking, but it's going to get very crazy out here in Jacob's trouble. So let's get through this Jeremiah, the Water brothers. This Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 12. It says, for thus saith Yahweh, thy bruise is incurable, and thy womb is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast not healed medicine. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not. For I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy. So it was, what is it? Baruch, the 4th chapter, verse 6, 7. The Lord sold us to these nations, right? The prayer of Azariah, right? He says he has given us to lawless enemies. And that was in the time of, that was the time of the Babylonian Empire. But guess what? All nations is lawless, but Esau is the top lawless nation on the earth, right? It says, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thy iniquity, because thy sins were increased. So the Lord put us, we became wounded by these other nations because of our iniquity. It reached all the way to the heavens. It says, why criest thou for thy affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thy iniquity. Because thy sins were increased, I have done these things unto thee. Because our iniquities increase, right? The righteous, what is it? Let's go to Ezekiel real quick. I don't want this to be long, because of course I got work later on. This is Ezekiel chapter 21, verse 4. I brought this out yesterday too. Look, the Spirit will have you bringing out the same precepts again, man. This is Ezekiel chapter 21, verse 4. It says, seeing then that I will cut off from thee the righteous and the wicked. Therefore,
Hear me? Can y'all hear me? Salaki, man. The sun is, man, I put my damn lunch bag behind so it could block the sun, but the sun not even out. How the heck? It said my phone got too hot. Can somebody hear me? Can somebody hear me on this? I don't know if I'm back. I'm back. Okay, the water. Okay, so I gotta bring out this precept I brought out the other day. I think that's when it froze. So this is the verse I brought out before my phone said it was hot. This is Ezekiel 21, verse 4. And again, like I said before the phone cut off, the Lord will have you bringing out the same precepts again because it's going to line up. This is Ezekiel 21, verse 4. Seeing then that I will cut off from thee the righteous and the wicked, therefore shall my sword go forth out of the sheath against all flesh from the south and to the north. Right? The righteous and the wicked went into captivity. The righteous and the wicked have to come back again, and either the of course the elect are going to come back into this knowledge, right? The righteous, they got to come back. Like in this time we were all Gentiles, even the men of the Lord, they were Gentiles in this thing. You elect lady, you became a Gentile in this thing. Christmas, the mindset that you was moving into, or the Lord afflict all Israel, man, all Israel. So we're all bruised, right? So even if the elect, if say if I am the elect, I'm not, Lord willing I am. I'm just using as an example. Say if I am the elect, I had to be taught this truth. I did not know this. I was saying Jesus and all this other extra stuff. I was out in these streets. A whole bunch of extra. So that means the Lord broke down even the elect, right? But guess what? It goes back to Job, right? The real service of the Lord is going to come back to this lot because it was predestined. Everything that took place, like Asher said, from 1,000 years ago was made for this moment here for us to wake up. And if you of that cloth, you're gonna wake up, right? So while we afflicted, let me read the 15 verse again. Jeremiah 30, verse 15. Why criest thou for thy iniquity? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thy iniquity, because thy sins were increased. I have done these things unto thee. Let me get another one. You go to Daniel, the ninth chapter. Daniel 9 in verse 11. It says, yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us in the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. And he have confirmed his word, which he spoke against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem. So no other nation got afflicted or in the situation like the nation of Israel. No nation. Just because they in captivity, they're not compared to us. We're in captivity because of our sin. Oh, all nations sins. Technically, all nations does, but really, when we go by what's written in the scriptures, whoever the law was given, those are the ones that transgress the law. In the second Esdras, the third chapter, verse 35, only Israel kept thy precepts. You look up the word precept, it means law, right? So only Israel kept the precepts. Even precepts going upon precept upon precept and understanding it, that was only for us, you know. So again, this is incurable. Back to Jeremiah 30, verse 16. It says, therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all that. This is going into the destruction of Israel enemies. This have not happened yet, right? You should desire this. How the hell you want this captivity to go another day? You know, where's your mind at? And this is for women out there, you know, even men, especially that's not of this faith. This is why the men of the Lord is always speaking of destruction, right? Because they desire it. What man of this faith is not desiring destruction to their enemies? How the hell you gonna get out of here? It's gonna be a lot of death for things to change around. So I must believe that you should be desiring destruction to come, because that's the only way you're getting out of here, man. You know. So again, gotta turn this light thing off. Let me actually plug it. This Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thy adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will be for a prey. So all these nations that bump up against Israel, Zechariah 2 and 8, whoever touched us touched the apple of the Lord's eye, right? First Maccabees 2 and 10, right? It's not one nation that didn't touch our spoils, right? They're marked. Even Jake that was in front of the elder in South Carolina, GMS South Carolina, he been marked. Anybody that's on this live and watching it later, oh man, them brothers bugged out. Like the person in the beginning, oh you guys, the Hebrew Israelites, such hatred. Yo, anybody that's not getting in line with this, you are marked. You know, even in Romans 16:17, anybody that's teaching a new doctrine that's bringing in division, mark those that cause division, right? Ron Dalton, he been marked because he's causing division, you know. So all our adversaries are going to go into captivity, they're going to be devoured, and they're going to be praised. This says the destructions of Israel enemies. The elect is coming from all nations, and all the nations that don't get in line, they're going to be servants of the people that get saved from their nations. No. Why do you think the Lord separate each nation and gave each nation what they got? They got a blessing. They got a blessing. Israel, you're blessed, but you have a covenant. You have an oath. You have a law. You have an everlasting covenant. Right? The Lord did separate things for all nations, but his people, he did something so special and spectacular, you know. So verse 17 it says, "For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith Yahweh, because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after." Nobody cares for Israel, man. If you get it or if you don't, right? No nation does. That's why when you look at Judith the 5th chapter, verse 20, right? If we stay in sin, this is going to be our ruin. This is why the nations can still rule over us. But when we come back to Yahweh Shem Shai, the nations are going to become a reproach, starting with Esau. Marie 17 NLT, it says, "I will give you back your health and heal your wounds, says Yahweh, for you are called an outcast, Jerusalem, for whom no one cares. No one cares about you, Jake, right? And this is why it's really about the elect, because only the elect care about salvation. Only the elect care about what Yahweh Shem Yahushai says. So how can we save the community? Nothing can save the community, only if they were predestined to get it. That's it. How can you say the community where the nation of Israel, is not predestined to get it on this side? All Israel is going to be saved, but only the elect is predestined to get it. Have Israel obtained what they seek it for? Not all Israel, not the whole house of Israel, but only the election shall obtain salvation. Only the elect are going to obtain it. Only the elect is going to get this understanding. You know, that's right there. That's scary. That's scary in itself. If you ain't predestined to get it, you ain't getting it. And hey, and it's even more scary. What if the Lord let you in this thing and then remove you? You through the Spirit, you was an agent. The Lord let you be in here for a time, plant a seed, and some brothers that get out this thing, your seed that you planted will leave you and follow follow the true teachers, or some of your sheep that follow you. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. If they just like you, I want to be like you. I want to walk in your shoe. If they just like you, they gonna kick rocks too. They gonna become a bug out too, right? So now we getting, because those are just two verses in that. Now we can line up some precepts. Revelation the 13th chapter, verse 10. They that lead into captivity shall go into captivity. They that kill it with the sword must be killed with the sword. Um, we got Isaiah 14 and 2, right? We got multiple, right? I'm not gonna go too deep in this thing, but it's multiple examples, right? So now we're getting into Jerusalem being rebuilt, and this haven't happened. Now through the Spirit, Amos 9:11 has definitely happened. Acts the 15th chapter, verse 16, 17, the tabernacles of David is being rebuilt through the Spirit by the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, by this water, by this fountain, by this stream, the fountain, the stream, and the spring. All those are water, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Yahweh Bashim Al Shai is rebuilding the tabernacles of Jacob right in front of the nations. Right now, when you go to verse 18, it says, "Thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tent, and have mercy on his dwelling places, and the city shall be builded upon its own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof." So just like how we was building the foundations of Esau, the foundations of Egypt, Babylon, and Timbuktu, right? The nations is going to rebuild the desolate places of Israel. Two places going to be destroyed, totally destroyed. Babylon is going to be a lake of fire destroyed, and Israel is going to be destroyed. Right? Let me just get that precept, and then when we'll finish reading that Jeremiah, we're going to close. This is Ezekiel chapter 38, dealing with Gog, right? Dealing with Russia in the modern time. Verse 17, it says, "Thus saith Yahweh by Shem Shai power, art thou he of whom I have spoken in old time by my servants the prophets of Israel, which prophesied in those days many years, that I will bring thee against them? And it shall come to pass at the same time when God shall come against the land of Israel, save Yahweh Shemashai power, that my fury shall come up in my face." Right? So the Lord, wait, let me finish this one. It says, "For in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath have I spoken, surely in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel." Right? So is Israeli, right? Where Yama Yahuwah, I'm calling him Yu-Gi-Oh, the head dude of Israel, or a prime minister of Israel. His name is Yu-Gi-Oh. Right? The Lord is going to shake that place with a missile, man. God, yo, the when you go to Ezekiel 38 and 10, where it says that it says, "Thus saith Yahweh Shemashai power, it shall come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought." Right? God is gonna press that dang button, man. And it's gonna be directed towards Israel, because even Israeli is lined up with the United States, because that's the whore, that's the dragon, that's the beast. This is their system. So that spirit is gonna hit them, and then press the button, and they gonna press that damn button, man. You should be desiring this, man, in order for you to have rest. For in order for the what it say, the dwelling places in the city shall be builded, you gotta desire that button to be pressed. Ezekiel 38 verse 17 and 19. Ezekiel 38 and 10. You should desire that evil thought to come on God, Russia, to press that button, man. Right? Verse 19 in Jeremiah 30, it says, "And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving in the voice of them that make merry. And I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. And I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small." Right? Is that talking about all Israel gonna be saved? No. It's because after the Lord save us, our kingdom is being rebuilt. Brothers is gonna be planting seeds. Now I'm not. This is video. I'm not trying to make it too long, but it's precepts in here where a child is going to become a nation, right? What a seed or a baby is going to become 1,000, right? The men is going to be planting seeds, and women, we're going to truly multiply in this earth, right? Men get a million, a million plus sperm each day, compared to a woman having one egg. A woman is nowhere near compared to a man, right? When a woman has a son, she unclean for 40 days. But when she has a daughter, she unclean for 8 days. That show you who's more clean, the men or the woman. Women is nowhere near on a man's level in any aspect. It doesn't matter how much money you make. I'm happy for you, bravo. But the Lord set up the men, right? Just had to say that, right? Because in order for us, where he says, they shall not be few, and I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. How are we going to not be small? Because the men are going to be planting seeds, right? That sperm. Verse 20, it says, their children also shall be as aforetime, and their congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all that oppress them. Right? This is not about all the nations. This is dealing with Israel, man. All nations can't dwell in our land and be all rich in the kingdom. No, and this goes back to brothers don't want to go back into the Old Testament because they don't want to accept all nations got their own possession. After that 1,000 year reign, all the heathen is going to go back to their own possession that was given to them aforetime, right? Make that make sense. This is talking about Israel getting uh taken from all their captivity and brought to their own land that was promised to Abraham. What did the Lord tell Abraham? I think it's Genesis 12, where he told him to leave his kindred, his father, his family, so and so and so, and go to this land that I'm gonna give you and your descendants. Not compared to, man, y'all not compared. Verse 21, it says, and their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governor shall proceed from the midst of them, and I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. For who is this that engage his heart to approach unto me, saith Yahweh? And ye shall be my people, and I will be your power. Behold, the whirlwind of Yahweh goeth forth with fury. In a continual whirlwind, it shall fall with pain with the head of the wicked. And the fierce anger of Yahweh shall not return until he have done it, and until he have performed the intent of his heart. In later days ye shall consider it. Right? You're going to consider what the Lord was prophesying to you in before time, man. Right? But I want to get this joint at Isaiah 60:66, and then I'm gonna come back to Jeremiah and we're gonna read that. And then we're gonna close. Right? Because this right here is, man, it's a scary hour when you see these scriptures, when you really line them up. This is Isaiah 66, starting at 15. It says, for behold, Yahweh will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind. Now, Doan is saying, when we go into chariots, it's going into the chariots like in the days of Egypt, those type of, but that was ancient vehicles. Technically, those was vehicles. Don't you know your car technically is a chariot in this modern time? A chariot is just a moving vehicle, man, right? And the chariots of the Lord has many examples. You got chariots of Israel, right? And the Heavenly Father, how do you think the mindset of Wi-Fi, internet, if we got this on earth, what is the Lord's prayer? Heavenly Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. When you look at the tabernacle that was on earth, it was symbolic to the tabernacles that was in heaven. The order, the angels as ministers, messengers, the prophets are ministers and messengers. Same thing in heaven is happening on earth. So you got technology and all of this, the thought process that you thinking. You don't think the Lord ain't coming with advanced technology, things you ain't never seen? But hey, we ain't getting into that. So again, the Lord is coming with fire and with chariots like a whirlwind. These are the chariots of the Lord. UFOs, UAPs, whatever you think you want to call them. But he's the vehicles of the Lord to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire, like a mountain, like in Second Ezra, the 13th chapter. For by fire and by his sword will Yahweh plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahweh shall be many. Right? Zephaniah, the first chapter, verse 6, I think to 8, is going to be a sacrifice. And it's many guests for this sacrifice, man. The two-thirds, Esau, all these other nations. Anybody in Israel and America and all these other places that might get hit with a nuke, all of y'all that get touched by these nukes, you are part of this sacrifice, especially dealing, because it's really dealing with Babylon. Babylon is the biggest sacrifice on the earth, right? So let me read this in Jeremiah, the 30th chapter, in verse 20 in the NLT. It says, their children will prosper as they did long ago. I will establish them as a nation before me, and I will punish anyone who hurts them. The, uh, yeah, anyone who hurts them, They will have their own ruler again, which is going to be Hamashiach Yahushai and David underneath, and then the 12 apostles. Because again, Yahushai said that the 12 are going to sit on 12 thrones judging the nation of Israel, right? And he will come from their own people. So that ruler is going to come from their own people. That's talking about Hamashiach Yahushai. So Hamashiach Yahushua is still going to have the nationality of an Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Judah. Just because he's in heaven, that did not change. Right? It says, I will invite him to approach me, says Yahweh. For who would dare come unless invited? Right? You will be my people and I will be your power. Look, Yahweh's anger burst out like a storm, a diving wind that swirls down on the heads of the wicked. The fierce anger of Yahweh will not diminish until it has finished all he has planned in the days to come. Will in the days to come, you will understand all this. So when this day comes, you're gonna understand, wow, that was the truth, right? You're gonna really, you two-thirds, y'all gonna have it worse. Dang, that was the truth, and now you can't even get in it. Door gonna be closed on that ass, right? But it really said, he said, um, the first anger of Yahweh will not diminish uh until it has finished all he has planned. So that means it's been in the Lord's plan. This goes back to a verse I've been bringing out dang near every lesson. Y'all should, yeah, the chat, everybody that's on here probably watching later, you should know. Isaiah 46 and 10, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. So it's the Lord's pleasure to rebuild, right? To rebuild the cities in a place of ruin for Israel and this whole foundation of the earth for us, because he made the world for our sake, right? To the destruction of our enemies. That's his pleasure, right? And it was his pleasure to bring us down. We just seen it in Ezekiel 21 and 4, where he cut off the righteous and the wicked. That was the Lord's pleasure because it was going to bring forth Yahweh Shai, you know, Yahweh Shai. Right? So I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, the water Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Shai, for allowing this lesson to come out. Lord willing, it was edifying to your sheep. Right? Double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit, and the mighty Shalom to the hopeful elect, scattered four corners of the earth. In the same spirit, teaching his word and believing his word, Lord willing, that you all in the same sound doctrine, right? Endure and be sincere. Shalom to the Akwat Yam, believers of his faith and his truth. Lord willing that y'all continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent, virtuous wife. And Lord willing to most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters, not in the faith. Again, this is a dream. You are really living a story and you're living in a dream. You're living out this dream and you're living out this story. Lord willing, you're playing that major part, which is the of the elect. To the elect men, to the elect lady, and to the elect children. With that, I'm gonna say shalom, blah blah blah.